Good day, YouTube.
What's going on out there, YouTube?
What up, mate?
How's it going?
We saw a freaking bloody awesome movie, mate.
Awesome. Just awesome. Spectacular, really.
I don't know, mate. Like, the wikers that were in the movie, you know, I just couldn't imagine what was up there, you know.
Well, completely opposite of what I expected. Just to say the least.
But we're not being very gentlemanlike, you know? We need to go introduce ourselves. This is SCL 0320.
It's Joe Johnson 0308.
We are back for a movie review, y'all. We had some terrible British accents, I apologize. Usually we better than that. But we are here for the Kingsman Secret Service.
Most definitely.
So, off the gate from Mark Millar's work, the comic book that spawned from different works such as Nemesis, notable mentions Kick-Ass. You've got Matthew Vaughn, who directed First Class, who directed Kick-Ass, the previous versions, and now he is frontlining for this brand new epic movie. And oh my gosh, YouTube, it was over the top, y'all. Like Joe said, it was bloody, rank, and what did you say, ratchetness?
It wasn't ratchet. It was ratchet. It was ratchet.
He invented a word.
Dang.
I was like, what? But it wasn't that bad kind of like just nudity for the heck of it, or just obscene profanity for the heck of it. It was just over the top action consistently, and there was no limit to what was going to happen within a single scene. Like every scene, and this is how we're going to go about it. We're going to talk about the visuals first, we're going to talk about the actors, and then we're going to talk about the movie. We're going to try to go into as much detail as we possibly can without revealing anything. Now, the visuals for this movie, they went from so many different locations that I couldn't believe it. But it wasn't just them going to different set locations. Now, you can go do that with the Lord of the Rings and add CG elements to it. They took certain angles and different shots. There was a scene where they were in the air and like skydiving, and I know for a fact the visuals for it was turning and actually having like maybe a Gold Cam or a professional based camera, and it was singled out in a certain kind of way. There was an underwater sequence, and that was actually a really good scene, and it was shot beautifully. Like, what did you think about the visuals for this?
Oh, it was freaking amazing. Especially during the fights. That was what I enjoyed the most. During the fight scenes, how they panned the camera around was so uncanny, but at the same time, it was very well done.
Yeah.
I mean, it put you right there in the action, and you was like, crap.
Yes.
Like, whoa, blow for blow. Every, angle, every blow you've seen, and it was spectacular. Like, it emphasized everything in the fight scenes. Everything.
Yeah. There's a scene in this movie, y'all, that takes place in a church. And the church, they don't exemplify the normal Baptist or non-denominational church that we're accustomed to seeing. These folks, they have some other stuff going on. And when the scene progresses and the violence that overtakes, I guarantee you, if you're not, that there's something might be psychologically wrong with you, you will be like this. That's exactly the motions that you take, because that's what we were dealing with. I was like, Joe, I'm in shock. Like, I can't believe the amount of violence, but yet the cinematography, the choreography, and the detail to camera work and action blended in just one set piece. Because after that, that signified everything that was going to go from that point. Like, you see folks like getting blown up in the head. You get see like there's this one girl that's one of the major predominant villains, and she does really great dancing. I forget her name. I'm gonna go into it once I find her up here. But she's a professional dancer. She took months to learn a lot of the choreography and a lot of the fighting styles, and it's just beautiful to actually watch her move. But then there's scenes where the main character, who his name is Eggsy, he does like some racing, and it's just over the top spectacle visuals. The visuals just awesome, and even like the score, it fit in different places. Like there was sometimes I was like, man, this is a little flat, but then when the action did happen, the scores worked perfectly for each scene with it. And I mean, I didn't expect some of the things that happened towards the end at all. I was just blown away from the fact that I went into it optimistic, but I was blown away in what I was delivered as far as the visuals and the scope of it. But what about you?
I was definitely shocked, to say the least. Not in a bad way. Oh my gosh, it was terrible. But I was just like, wow. I was like, wow, they went there. And it was intense. Like, and that level of intensity I didn't expect from this movie.
Yeah.
And during the previews did a really good job of this. They kind of didn't show really the key. I would say the key factors that make this movie a really good movie. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I enjoyed it so much is like, even with Samuel L. Jackson as being the villain, you know what I'm saying, just as appearance, like from the previews, I was kind of like, okay, I wonder how this is gonna work. You know, Samuel L. Jackson did a good job. Really impressed with his performance.
Let's see how he did that. He just segued into the acting portion. Go ahead, keep going.
Let's see how.
Your boy Harry?
The action. I was like, okay, so you know how some previews show all the action scenes that will happen in the movie,
and that's the movie.
That exactly. They held back so much. I was like, this is a totally different movie. It was so crazy. It was so good.
They did.
So it's completely. I was shocked and blown away. As much as like how much they held back in the previews, and that's what shocked me. I was like, what the crap? It's like, whoa, this is this kind of movie.
Yeah.
I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah,
go check the film out. You'll definitely see what we're talking about. You'll definitely see what we're talking about.
See, he's all shook
it's
up.
It has some violent parts, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But wow. It was just wow. I was shocked.
Like kind of how he's describing, there are scenes that take place on a global scale. It's not just like the conventional villains and the good guys. Like, there are parts where you see around the world fighting this actually taking place. Now, some of it is CG'd out, you can tell, but then they close up at certain select spots where it's just rioting going on, and people are getting killed, and people are getting hurt, and it's wild, and it builds to more interesting story because of anticipation of what could take place. You know, you don't know who's gonna live and who's gonna die, especially in this movie. So segueing into the actors in this one, you've got Colin Firth that's playing Harry, or what you would call Gallivant. You've got Tadron Egerton, which is interesting because he plays Gary, or the main character Eggsy. You got Samuel L. Jackson that plays Valentine, which is interesting. Oh my gosh, this character. You got Michael Caine. You got Mark Strong. You got all these different. I mean, you even got Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill was in like Luke Skywalker, the voice of the Joker, was in the movie towards the beginning of the movie, and he plays a professor that's just so unconventionally weird, but he's a memorable character. In the face time that he gets ample time to resonate with you and connect with you to like be memorable enough for it. And it's the same thing for everybody that showed up in this movie, because Colin Firth, he plays such the awesome old school James Bond type, but with more swag than how Daniel Craig plays James Bond now, because you don't know what he's truly capable of up until a certain scene. And it's just really interesting because something happens towards the beginning of the movie and you get to see the layers of him kind of get to unravel, but they unravel with him in connection with Eggsy, the main character, and they're flushed out so well, and it shows that Colin Firth has great acting ability. And of course, I mean, I think he won the Academy Award for the King's Speech. I think he won that time. But I mean, he's just an awesome actor, and he played this role to a T, and he looked the part. Like, before I've seen him, he was overweight. He slimmed down. This dude was trim cut, and he was like ready to go in, you know. But the guy that plays Eggsy, like, he does a really good job. Yeah, he plays the role of what you would think is going to be like this kind of street thuggish kind of guy that's got all these kind of abilities and stuff like that. But at his core, if you really look at his character and there's certain things that he does, like there's a subtle notion that he wants to do good and he's not going to cross the line to take anybody out. And it's really interesting, really noble. It shows that anybody has the capacity to be a nobleman, or being a great man, as opposed to their upbringings. And that's what they kind of did with the comic. In the comic, it oversimplified that with Eggsy. But oh my God, Samuel Jackson.
Don't tell him nothing about Samuel.
You don't want to say it?
Don't tell him nothing.
I can't say anything about him.
No, not anything, man.
Why can't I say anything about you?
Because, bro, that makes his character. That makes his character, bro. We can't tell you about Samuel.
Okay, then. We're not going to say anything about it.
Good job.
Okay.
He does a very good job.
Oh my gosh. But then you got Mark Strong. And Mark Strong, in my opinion, was the ultimate Sinestro. But he plays kind of like the interesting role of a Kingsman that is put in a situation. And it's really interesting dynamics between him and Eggsy. And then there's another character that's in it that I'm not going to talk about, but it's really well done. And I mean, I think that who I'm overlooking is the girl. The girl, what is her name? I think her name is Jono Daveus. I think that's her name, if I'm not mistaken. If it's not, I apologize. But she plays the main role of the person that is without legs, that is just cutting through people. And she's got stage presence, y'all. Like, she's an action junkie in the making. Like, if they don't partner her with certain movies later on, I'd be surprised, because the way she carries herself and the way she's having to move, it's just unconventional. Like, to be able to act and just kind of move with that kind of... It didn't draw attention to the fact she didn't have any legs. It was the fact that she's just completely dangerous and insane. But, I mean, she plays along so well with Samuel Jackson, it's like they've been doing it for years. And I think the last time I actually heard the girl actually speak, she couldn't speak very well English. So I'm not even sure. It's really, really awesome stuff that you get to see for this. No. Her name is Sophia Boutella. And she plays Gazelle. Yeah, that's her. So, look out for her. Like, she's got a future. I promise you she does.
Definitely.
But, I mean, everybody brought something to the table. Every character was able to be fleshed out, but it was all centered around Eggsy. And I'm going to read the synopsis for y'all of the movie. Hopefully this synopsis doesn't tell too much. A spy organization recruits a... actually, no, I can't even say. Look at the movie, because it centers around a spy organization that Colin Firth is a part of, that Mark Strong is a part of, that the guy that plays Eggsy, he has connection to because of something that happens in the beginning. And how it pans out is just so well fleshed out. It feels like you got a comic strip that's fleshed out on screen, because there's nothing that's untouched. There's nothing that it won't happen. And everybody's life that you see on this movie, they're not promised. Like, you don't know who's going to live by the end of it. And that's kind of how I felt for the first Kick-Ass. The first Kick-Ass movie, I think when Nicolas Cage's character died, like, it was like, man, I don't know what's going to seriously go down. And that's the kind of feeling that this movie brought into me. And I think that segues into possibly them doing sequels. I'd hope they do. But that's not to say that main characters are not going to die in this. And revelations that happen, certain twists that happen. The thing you got to know with this is to pay attention to each character. What's their motives, what kind of character they are, and what are their mannerisms. Like, what are they catering to? Like, what are their ideals? And that's how this movie is kind of treated individually, and as like how they fight as well. And it's really well done. I guess I can't say too much about it, Joe, because I don't want to flesh out anything, and so much happened that I can't reveal too much either. All I can say is that Samuel Jackson's character is highly dangerous. He's just as dangerous as his partner Giselle on different levels. Gotcha. It's just, he's got some problems that you're going to find out really early on, and even towards the end of it. It's just a fun ride. Yeah. Don't bring anybody that's under 15 years old, because there's a lot of violence. Luckily, there's not a lot of nudity. I think there's maybe one scene that's a little bit of nudity. There's not too much cussing as well. So it was a clean, violent, gory slugfest. I mean, that's the best way I can kind of describe
If you
it.
can make. It's weird. It's
Yeah.
weird how we could put those two together in this movie.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Also, one thing they do a really good job of is developing the plot, because Samuel L. Jackson is a villain, but you don't know exactly what he's up to. They do a really good job of disguising this up until like the midpoint in the movie.
Yeah.
You actually didn't know what he's up to.
That's very true.
So, and once you know, you're like, holy crap, this is huge.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
They do a really good job of that.
Even in the beginning, I was trying to guess. I was like, what is this dude doing? And the previews are not going to tell you anything. Yeah. I can promise you that. But I was like, what is going on? I mean, I could only get like glimpses, but then when it all hits the fan, like, you're like, wow. And I guess that's the prestige of this. That's what is the smoke and mirrors. Like, you don't know what you're really getting until you're there, until it's happening to you and you're witnessing visually. So it's a great ride. I mean, I'd have to give this movie, I mean, I didn't even give ratings for the different sections. I just give the movie as a whole at least an 8.5 out of 10. I mean, that was one of the better action movies that I've seen. It's not like Oscar worthy or anything like that. It was just really well done, really well directed. Sequences were beautiful. What did you give it as far as rating, man?
Man, I have to give it, like, if I'm just rating it for like a movie, for the craft of it, I'd have to give it maybe like a 9. I'd give it a 9. Mm-hmm. It was well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
It's like me and him looking, because there's a lot that goes down, and it's like some of the stuff. It's like, look, I can't believe we just witnessed that or allowed our eyes to watch it. Cause I told him, I was like, man, I feel like I came out tainted.
Yeah,
I feel like tainted goods. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been dirtied up, my mate. But nah, on the real, you will really enjoy this. If y'all enjoyed anything that Matthew Vaughn has done in the past, such as Snatch or First Class or Kick-Ass, you're really going to enjoy what he does with this one. And it's meted out well. And I know that they directly worked with Mark Millar with getting the story and the ins and outs from the comic book and transitioning it to the film. So definitely go and check out Kingsman as soon as possible. You're not going to be disappointed. It's a great ride. And I think we might go see it again. Or I might go see it again. Can't promise him. But check it out. Yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed our review. And yeah, we're out, everybody. We Kingsman, you know what I'm saying? Later, everybody. Later, mates.
All right.